Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Express. Well, this is a new week and a new episode on what is becoming everyone's favorite talk show. You'll agree with me that it is encouraging, exciting, profound, real, energizing, sensible, and sensitive. This is what Express is all about, and much more. So, without any further delay, please help me welcome back to the stage the beautiful, expressive, talented, and savvy director of Express. She's called Carolyn. Carolyn, take it away.
Welcome again to our show, Express, Jermy.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, it's a pleasure. I've been looking forward to today. And I'm sure the audience is looking forward to it too, to hear the ending of the story. Well, for this part anyway. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead. So what we spoke about last was when you had that encounter with the gunmen. You went home, you saw your mother praying, and that really got your attention.
Yeah, that changed
your
my life.
Yes. Okay. So let's move on from there.
And I started my pursuit thereafter for truth because I wanted to keep my promise to God that if He had allowed me to reach home safely, that I would return to Him. And so I started my pursuit for truth. And I had promised God that I will leave no stone unturned in my pursuit for truth. And I started as a Rastafarian. I went into Buddhism, Hinduism, Islam. I tried it all. As a matter of fact, I was getting ready to go back to Ethiopia, to the land of my birth, and then discovering in the writings of Selassie that he was a believer in God, in Jesus the Christ, as a matter of fact. And so all arrows always pointed me back to Christianity, especially when it comes on to the issue of suffering and God. It always takes me back there because we have a God in the Christian message. We have a God in the suffering with us. That's what Calvary is. A God who has not abandoned. A God who is not far removed, but a God who is in the struggle with us and said it is finished. That means there is a deadline to all suffering, heartache, and pain. Well, that's a sermon for another time. So my pursuit for truth led me back to the Christian religion. I just thought it was necessary to lay that foundation there. And a part of the of following into one's purpose and walking in prosperity is to address the hurting places in our lives. I hated my father, like I hated him with a passion. My life's goal was to kill him. My life's purpose was to just see him dying of thirst and just having all this water and just not giving him. I got fulfilled from the idea to see him suffer. And you might ask why.
Why? Yes, I was about to ask you.
Right. Why? Where did this hurt come from? I will highlight one. There are myriads. He has never been in our lives. We have suffered abuse and rejection and all sorts of things because of his absence. He has never, ever wanted anything to do with us. And so I remember it was primary school examination that will determine which high school you will attend. And the teacher said before the exam, which would be tomorrow, which is the next day, make sure you have a good breakfast, guys. Bring yourself a ruler, a sharpener, an eraser, a HB pencil, and be ready for the exam. And I had none of that, including the breakfast, because we were extremely poor. And went home and I gave the list of things that I need to mommy, and mommy prayed, and mommy said the Lord will provide. I had a problem with that because it's not like God does not know what I need. Why do I have to wait and suffer for him to provide? And so I had challenges with that. So I didn't want to wait on God, because waiting on God is hunger. Waiting on God is without
You
electricity,
think?
water. Right. That's what I thought. So
Yes.
I cannot wait on him. So I'm going to help God. I'm going to help God now, because sometimes God needs God needs help according to us, right?
Yes.
So I decided to go by my father's house and ask him just for a pencil. He has never given me anything in his life and in my life. And so a pencil at this juncture, I would forgive him. I got there, he was working on a ladder. That means he has a job. That makes the request easy. When I got closer, he was wearing a tight pants. I saw the money shapes in his pocket. So that means he has money. That makes the request even easier. But there was a problem though, because I was 12 years old, 11 years, 12 years old. I didn't know how to address him because he was never in our lives. So I have never had to use the word father, daddy before. So I didn't know how to address him. I didn't know if I was to say in the Belizean parlance and in the Caribbean slang, I should have said my youth or doggy dog or whatsoever the slogan or the slang would be. But I needed the pencil, so I said, Daddy. I said, good morning, Daddy. Today is my primary school examination. And he said, so what? A voice immediately said, Jeremy, leave. And a voice said, stay. Because I needed the pencil, I followed the voice that said, stay. And I said to him, I need a pencil, Daddy. He said, leave and let your mother buy it. I said, if mommy could have bought it, I wouldn't have been here. And he chased me like a dog in front of the entire community. He shouted that I was not his son. And I won't lie to you. I bowed my head and I prayed, because mommy taught us that it doesn't matter the situation, pray. So I prayed and I said, God, please give me the strength of Samson right now so I could teach this old fool a lesson. But that was short-lived, because God did not answer that prayer. God did not give me the strength of Samson. I did not feel the Spirit of God moving upon me and give me superhuman strength. And I was so embarrassed and ashamed and broken. Leading up to this though, there would be times when I would see him on the street walking. We're going to pass each other coming in opposite direction. I would deliberately walk close enough to hit him, to touch him, so that he would look and just see that it is his son, and he wouldn't even recognize me. And that hurt to the core. It's a pain that words cannot describe. You begin to question your purpose. You begin to question your worth. You begin to question your value, and it led to a weakened personality. It led to low self-esteem and to suicidal thoughts and tendencies. And so when these are not addressed, it creates bigger problem. But I left that day after he embarrassed me, but I was still going to the examination room because mommy said, go and make mommy proud. And I love my mom to death, so I was still going. I was overwhelmed with anger and hate, and I hated everything and everybody. And I was walking with my head up like this, because if I just would tilt my head a little, tears would come flowing like a river. And mommy said men should not cry. So I was trying my best to be a man and holding that tear. And it began to rain. Never forget. It began to rain, and I used the rain to hide my tears. I was able to cry without nobody seeing it. And
Mm.
I know I'm still walking. I'm soaked in the water from the rain, and I'm walking. My head is down. I'm crying, and there, while walking, there floated out of a drain a pencil.
Wow. That's God.
Mommy said God would provide. I
Yes.
just didn't know. I just didn't know how and under what circumstances or means. And it wasn't a brand new pencil. It was a small pencil sharpened on the
Yes.
both ends. The pencil had no
HB.
eraser.
HB.
It
Because
was
I
an
know it
HB pencil. It was an
mercy.
HB pencil sharpened on the both ends. I later in my life realized that it was God who loaned me his pen, because God's pen has no eraser. Well, that's a sermon for another time, right? But the
Before
lesson,
you go any further, though, I heard it, and I'm saying to myself, do I talk about it? But I need to talk about it because
yeah,
someone, Jeremy, may be watching
yeah,
and is contemplating committing suicide.
yeah,
I know you said it. You
yeah,
didn't prolong
yeah,
on it, but you said it because
yeah,
you had
yeah,
the urge to do it.
yeah, yeah.
Did you make a plan?
Yes.
You did.
I have tried it
Okay.
several times. And the
Okay.
last time I tried it, and thank you for asking. Now let me speak to that person. Uh,
Yes.
and let you know that you're not alone. You are
Mhm.
not alone. It is not germane to you. The problem is not you. The problem is circumstances.
That's it. Yeah.
And there is a solution. I am before you as exhibit A of of the solution that God has for us. It won't it doesn't always happen overnight, but I just pray that you would hear my testimony. I remember climbing on the veranda of that two-story wooden structure house and tying a rope on the beam and tie the other part around my neck, getting
Mm.
ready to leap off the rail. And as I was leaping off, one foot was left on the rail. I heard footsteps running up the stairs like somebody, and they took hold of my ankle. It was my left ankle, took
Mm.
hold of my ankle, and the person, it was a male, who said to me, "Don't jump. You have a bright future. I have plans for you." Now you could imagine how this felt. This felt right. Can anything good come out of Nazareth? Like what brightness? There is darkness all around. Depression, anxiety is all around. But I looked to see who it was. I didn't see anybody, but
Mm.
the hand was still holding on to my foot. Never forget it. And there was a plane in the sky,
Mm.
and the person said, "Look at the plane. I will take you places." My circumstances did not change, but again, there was a peace knowing that somebody had a plan for my life.
Mm.
Jeremiah says, "I know the plans I have for you, not of evil, but of good." Jeremiah 28:11, to give you a prosperous future.
Mm.
It might look bad. It's not the best. You did not want this for yourself. Folk might even tell you you're a mistake. You have probably been hearing negativities all your life, but I want to encourage you that you have a purpose and there is a reason for your existence. God, when he drew you in his plan, he didn't need an eraser, because God can make no mistake. He is the one who gives life. And the fact that you're alive is because God have a purpose for you. In Exodus 33, Moses said to God, "We're not going to move from here until I see your glory." God said, "You can't see my glory and live." Moses, in essence, said, "God, that's your problem." And God said, "All right, Moses, all right. Beside me, there is a cliff. There is a rock. I will hide you in the cleft of this rock, and I will pass by so that you will see my back." And Moses went into the cleft of the rock. The Bible never said for how long he was there. But if I could paint a picture for you in just a couple seconds, A rock is not a cushioned place. A rock is not a soft place. A rock is a hard place. And the higher you climb on a rock, to the cleft of that rock, the more the edges of those rocks are sharp. It will cut you. It is not a comfortable place. But that was where God hid Moses. God hid Moses in a hard place. I just wish I had somebody to listen to me. And immediately after that hard place, he saw the glory of God. Mighty God. Immediately after the hardest issues in your life, you will be blessed to see the glory of God. After every hardship, there is the glory of God. I want to encourage somebody going through a hard time. Your next stop is the glory of God. Don't give up. Don't take your life. Don't think that that is the only way out. God has a plan.
And you are a living
testimony of the plan of God.
Yes. And that aeroplane said, the person said you're going to go places, and you have places.
And I have been places all over this world that I only the goodness of God. It wasn't by money, wealth, or anything. It's just the goodness of God who navigated and orchestrated for me to be and to go places. And I am.
So you found the pencil. You went home.
I found the pencil. I went to the examination room.
Yes, and you went home and you went to the exam. Let's start with the exam.
I went to the exam. I was the last one in, but I was the first to leave.
Okay.
There was one part of the exam I didn't do. There was a picture of a father and a son. And I was to tell a story. And being very afraid of the government coming to look for me because of what I wanted to put on that paper. I just put a question mark over the figure of the father and I left. The invigilator of the exam asked me, he said, "Young man, do you want to review your work?" I said no. 2 weeks later, results came for the country and I got the highest in the country. And I went to high school, and as I said in the last recording, that I stopped high school. I did only 3 weeks in high school. Became a DJ. The Lord called me back. When I recommitted my life to the Lord, I started preaching. I was baptized the Saturday, and the Sunday I started in what in my faith tradition is known as a campaign. I started preaching and I never stopped up to this day. And so 13 years have now passed that I have been out of school, that I have not finished school. And 13 years after that, the Lord began to speak through people and situations for me to go back to school. But I had all bared. I couldn't go back to first form, to primary school, to high school. All bearded. I was like, Lord, I will just serve you and preach, but I can't do this. But the Lord, who began a good work, will complete his work. The conference of my church wanted to open their theological school, not at the high school level, but at the junior college level. This is a level above high school. This is at the associate's level. And so, seeing that I was preaching all around and doing the week of prayers everywhere, and everybody knew me, the conference said, "Jermy, we want you to be the face of the department, so we want you to come. Go to the school tomorrow, tell the dean, the conference president send you, and start school." So I went. I did not know that to be a pastor, you needed to know math, English, science, and all of that. I just thought you just need to tell the people that God called you to ministry, and they will just pave the way. And so, but before I went to the conference school in my country, I had contacted Jamaica, NCU, Northern Caribbean University, and they said, "We need a high school diploma." I was like, for ministry? It was God who called me. Yes, you need that for ministry. And I appreciate that because you want to have a balance. And so I went to the school there in Belize. And there the dean was saying, Jeremy, we've been waiting for you. Where is your high school diploma? And in my mind, I'm like, this again? So I said to him, I said that, I don't have a high school diploma. I don't have it. He said, okay, just go into class because class has already begun. Just go into class. And when you get it, you bring it. I was like, but he's not understanding that I literally don't have it. Like, and I was getting ready to explain to him that I literally don't have it when a voice said, Jeremy, in no uncertain terms, in no hiccup, a voice said, shut up and go into class. And I went into class. And when I got into class, I felt like a fish out of water because I didn't understand anything. Remember, I only did three weeks in high school. This is at an associate level above a program above high school. So I was not there. I packed up several occasions to leave. And the last time I packed up to leave, I called mommy and to tell her I'm leaving. And when she answered the phone, she said, we were just talking about you. Your aunts and uncles are here and they're so proud that you're at school studying to be a pastor. Oh my Lord. So how can I tell her now that I am packing up to come home? So all of these things working together now. So I decided to face the music, and while I couldn't play sports and participate in these sporting activities because I had to catch up on high school. 2 years after the program, I finished and graduated with honors. We graduated with honors, and then after that, I contacted NCU to tell them that, hey, I have a degree, higher than the high school. And I never forget, Aunt Thompson said, yes, that is good, but I still need a high school diploma. And I'm like, in heaven's name, God, why? And then the Lord said, go and talk to the principal of the school you once attended. By this time, I was doing their week of prayers. I was doing all of this. So they knew me very well. And the principal now was my English teacher when I was in high school for that 3 weeks. And I spoke to him and I said to him, this is the situation. He said, all right, Jeremy, I'm going to help you. I'm going to give you an exam. If you pass the exam, I'm going to give you your high school diploma. I said, give me the exam now. He said, no, we're going to give you an outline for you to study. And thereafter, I said, no, the next principal might not be as gracious and you might die on your way home today. So give me the exam now. And he laughed and they gave me the exam. You see, there was a method to the madness. If I request the exam there and then they would have to give me an exam impromptu. And so I got the exam and I finished high school in 45 minutes. I got my degree, got my diploma. Off I went to Northern Caribbean University in 2016, finished in 2018, began working that same year of 2018 as a pastor until 2021. But here is the excitement. God, you see, when God is involved, the greatest mess in our lives is beautiful when we see the hands of God in it. Remember, I am not from wealth or from prestige. I am a high school dropout. I was an atheist. I was one who did not believe in God. And today, I am a student of one of the most prestigious schools in the world. I am at Princeton University. And I say that with all humility. There is. It's not as a boast. It is a testimony of God's goodness, of God's faithfulness, and of God's covenant. That when He begins a work, God Himself will finish that work. And God has only the best for His children. And I just want to encourage somebody to trust Him. Even when He doesn't make sense. Trust Him, because at the end, it will all worth it for your benefit.
Amen. I want to go back to Daddy for a minute.
Okay.
So the last time you saw him, have you seen him since, or did you?
Thank you, thank you for that. So when I got home that evening after the exam, after Daddy insulted me,
Mm-hmm.
and I told my brothers and sisters, we began drawing and with pen and paper how we would kill him when we get older. Um, and that's that's the damage that he caused. And we planned to kill him. And I was the one who wanted to issue the deadly wound. I was determined to get my revenge. Now I'm gonna be personal here now. Mind you, I began preaching, but I still hated my dad. I was baptizing people, but I hated my dad. I was singing the songs of Zion, but I hated my dad. I was counseling people on forgiveness, but I hated my dad. And my life, Carolyn, began to go in a spiral, in a failure for failure. And I was tired. And one day I asked the Lord, what do you want from me? What do you want from me? And I never forget when somebody came and asked me about my father. And the person said, what if your peace lies in you forgiving your father? I knew that day it was God sending me an answer to my question. And I delayed for about 2 weeks. I just wrestled, because he was the purpose for my existence, my father. Because I want to see him punished. I want to see him die. God is now asking me to do the most difficult thing. And so I said, all right, I was tired. I said, all right, God, I'm going to go. I'm going to talk with him. But if he dies, because now I'm a grown man, if he dies today, his blood is on your shoulder. Because I don't know why you want me to forgive him when I didn't do anything for him. You know, that behavior that we just,
Yes.
yeah. And so I went there, but I was not the coward little boy who did not know how to address him. I called him by his first name. I said, Russell, come down here now. And I was ready for a fight. And my father is a big brother, and he is very arrogant. So I knew by shouting for him that will put him in rage, and finally I will get to settle the score. Yes. He looked over his veranda and he saw me and he said, my son, in the most softest, loving voice, he said, my son, I'm coming. I was like, no, the devil is a liar. I came here for a fight. I said, come now, trying to maintain my anger.
Yes.
And I was just barking at him as he was coming, and he walked straight up to me and he embraced me. He hugged me. And I was kicking and I was fighting. Let me go. I was going off. But he did not let me go. I fought until I lost strength. Because behind that rage was still that little boy who needed the embrace of his father.
Yes.
And we sat down and we talked for hours. I got everything off my chest. He got everything off his chest. We apologized. And I was left that day. And while I was walking, I had to look on the earth, on the ground, to see if my feet were touching the earth. Because I felt light. I felt light.
Mercy.
Then I realized that forgiveness was never for him.
It was for you.
Forgiveness was for me. It is hard, though, Sister Caroline, to forgive. It is hard, especially when you're not the one who did everything wrong. It is hard. But forgiveness is not for the person. Forgiveness is for you. Let me tell you today, my father and I have a very good relationship.
That's good.
And that was when my whole life turned around on a more positive note,
Oh,
because I was hindering my own progress, my own
yes.
growth. And my father, this day now, calling me to come and baptize him.
Oh,
Last week, he wants me to come and baptize him. So I said to him, I said, I could arrange that, my pastor friend. He said, no, no, no.
what's your
It won't be the same unless my son does it. And here's what I have to say. This is how I sum it up. Your life won't be the same unless the Son of God does it.
yes.
Give him a chance. Trust him. He has never failed. He has never lost. He is triumphant even over death. And I don't know what harm and hurt you are dealing with. But I want to encourage you to forgive. I want to encourage you to let it go, for it is only in doing so that you will experience the peace that passeth all understanding.
Wow, what a story. Wow, I'm looking forward to when you come back to have your mom and your father, if possible.
That
I would
sounds good.
love to have that.
That
This
sounds
is
good.
just a great story.
Praise God.
Compelling, amazing, miraculous story. May
Praise God.
God bless you. He has
Thank
saved
you.
you for a purpose, and you
I
are
believe.
working your purpose.
Praise God.
You are. You are.
Praise God.
Okay. Do you have anything else to say? Because we're just about finishing now.
As we wrap up and as we finish, don't allow the questions to darken the already revealed answers God has provided.
Mm,
What if, thinking here now, sitting here just going through this, what if, Sister Caroline, my life was preserved for this very day, for this very
moment.
interview, for this
Yes.
very moment, to say to somebody listening that God is not through with you yet.
Yes. Wow.
He is, my God. I just want to tell you, the mistake they did 2,000 years ago was to give Jesus that piece of wood called the cross. They forgot that he was a carpenter.
Mm,
And from that discarded wood, that carpenter would make a masterpiece.
mm,
For from that day, the cross was never seen in a negative light. People use the cross today as a sign of protection. Churches are recognized by the cross. Why? Because they gave that wood to a carpenter. You might feel like a discarded piece of wood. You're still in the hands of the carpenter. And he is about to make his masterpiece. Trust him to complete the work he has started in your life. That's my prayer for all of us today.
Thank you so much. A very good note
Okay.
to end on. Very good note to end on. Thank you so much for coming and blessing us, blessing our lives. I've been blessed. I'm sure others watching will be blessed. And
Praise.
as usual, I'm going to leave a thought with the audience. It is once said that once the storm is over, you won't remember how you made it through, how you managed to survive. You won't even be sure whether the storm is really over. But one thing is certain, when you come out of the storm, you won't be the same person who walked in that storm.
Amen.
This is Carolyn from Express saying, have a good day. And remember, don't worry about the storm so much. Keep your eyes focused on God, and He will take you through the storm. Have a good day.